Hello everybody, I'm Chris Buck and welcome back to another great video. Today we are going to be looking at the top 10 best-selling songs of 1960. This is going to be the first episode of the series. We're going to start with 1960 and we're going to go through the present day. And as we go along, we will have our excellent panel, who I'll introduce in just a second, and we will go through each song and we'll vote on whether we liked the song, didn't like the song, or we're just neutral on the song. You know, we can abstain too. So today with me I have Ben.
Good day, sunshine.
Gregory.
Hey.
And Fan.
Hello.
So, starting off, once again, just a little bit more to begin with. This is 1960. Of course, this isn't the most exciting young music. This is kind of where music started really starting to see a bunch of modernization. The 60s just in general was a very kind of, it was a decade of rapid development in how popular music sounds. So this is the older end of it. This stuff will sound quite old, quite ancient, I guess, to some modern ears, but it doesn't necessarily mean bad. It doesn't necessarily mean good. So I will encourage everyone to listen to this with an open mind. And, you know, just we'll see what kind of consensus we reach at the end. Alright, now, the first song, that's the number 10 song of 1960, is The Tryst by Chubby Checker, which I don't know what sort of name that is, but it's only a very interesting name. It's only a very old-sounding name. And we are now going to listen to that song, and then we will be back to give our thoughts on it and vote on whether or not we liked it. Alright, now everyone's listened to the song, and we are, of course, back to give our thoughts on it, and, of course, ultimately vote. So, before we go to the voting, does anyone have something they want to say about the song? Just kind of a general recap of their thoughts or feelings on it?
I'm familiar with this song, because it led to the dance craze of the same name. Honestly, if you had told me that this was the number one most successful song this year, I would have believed it easily. I'm honestly shocked it's as low as 10.
Actually, this song will actually reappear in the top 10 songs of 1962, in which it actually, I think, gets a little bit higher. Oddly enough.
I know Chubby Checker is also the person that did the Lumbo song. But
iconic.
So yeah, I mean, it's a dance craze song. It's kind of rock and roll influence, but it's not exactly that. It's, I don't know, I think it's pretty good for what it is.
Alright, now we are going to be voting on The Tryst by Chubby Checker. But before we do, I want to give an example of kind of how a voting system works here. So we all have an option of 3 points. Basically, the range we can vote for is from -3 to +3. So the maximum number of points something could get is +12. And the worst score something could get is -12. So basically, if we all love the song, if we all think it's just absolutely excellent, we can all give +3 to it. Or if, for instance, I love it, I give it +3, but then like the others give it +2, then it's a little bit less, and so it's a little bit below. And so that's how kind of how we're ranking stuff. We've got +1 for good, +2 for great, +3 for excellent, and -1 for kind of bad, or maybe just lackluster. And then -2 for, like, bad, like, really bad, and then, like, -3 for, like, awful. So, and then, of course, we can also vote 0, which is kind of abstain, neutral. And so we are going to be, at the end of this video, kind of ranking the songs by their net score. So, the song, once again, was The Tryst by Chubby Checker, and we are going to vote now. Ben, how do you vote?
+1.
Okay, Gregory?
+2.
Okay, Fan?
0.
Okay, and I will vote, I think I'm going to vote +1. I'm kind of tempted to vote +2, but I think I'm going to stick with Ben on this one. So that gives us a +4 rating for this song. That's 1 from Ben, 1 from me, 2 from Gregory, and 0 from Fan. Alright, the next song at position number 9 is Stuck on You by Elvis Presley. Elvis, of course, is still popular to this day. This isn't something that seems as ancient as like some of the stuff might. So, yeah, we're gonna go listen to this song, and then we will be back with our thoughts. Alright, well, we've listened to the song, and before we go on to voting, anyone have anything to say? I know I certainly do. Yeah, I thought we all might. I think Gregory spoke first.
Yeah, I had to look up this, remember what movie I heard this in. It was in Lilo and Stitch. So, like, I've fond memories of this song. I just didn't know it was an Elvis song at the time.
I haven't seen that in years. I didn't remember being in that.
Yeah, like, it was one of the first DVDs I bought, too. Or my family bought, like, as a kid, like, 2001? Yeah. But yeah, I really liked the song. It didn't appear in the recent Elvis biopic that came out 2 years ago that I watched, which I'm kind of surprised it didn't, because I think this is in some other movies I watched that it did too. But, yeah.
Alright, Fan, I think you were next.
This was so much better. This is a really good tune.
Ben?
See, I liked it, but I think I liked it less than the previous two people. Elvis is a good single. It's a funny song. I found some of its lyrics kind of cliche, which is fine.
I found it. I'm sorry to talk over here, Ben, but I found some of the lyrics to be maybe a little stalkery. It's still well delivered.
I didn't take it as such. No, I didn't take it as such. It seemed pretty silly. Insincere, I don't think it was stalkery. I don't know. And I did like it. I enjoyed listening to it. But I also found it kind of... I don't know, I was less enthusiastic than Gregory and Fonville.
It's pretty good. It's not what I'd consider one of Elvis's all-time greats, but it's solid. He certainly does a good vocal performance, as usual. I mean, it's Elvis, so what do you expect? Alright, and now we're gonna vote on Stuck on You by Elvis. So, Ben, what score would you give this song?
+1.
Fan?
+2.
Gregory?
+3.
Okay, and I am giving, I think, +1, sticking with Ben again. So that is, overall, that is +7. Alright, the next song is Handyman by Jimmy Jones. So we're gonna go listen to this song, and we will be right back with our thoughts. Alright, now we are back. Anyone want to give their thoughts?
Question mark.
I thought that the whistling throughout was super annoying, so the song turned it from a really good song to a bad song for me. Honestly, I was not pleasant through, like, microphones. It was very harsh.
Yeah, there's probably a good song in there somewhere. So maybe not the comma, but I think with a better single and a better production and without the whistling, there was a good song in there. This was not it though.
There was a cover of this from the 70s by James Taylor. I just feel like stating while we're here that I'm more familiar with this version.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That is significantly better than this, in my opinion. That's just all I gotta say. Significantly better.
I actually really liked this song. I thought it was, and I liked the whistling. I don't know. It's just it was kind of like not quite R&B, but kind of like but it was more. I don't know. Like we would have a hard time classifying the song if there was a modern day version of it, but it would kind of be. It would be R&B. I don't know. I like songs that make me think like way of thinking of R&B and rock music and stuff like that in the modern sense. That sounds completely different back in the '60s. So yeah.
I'd say this is R&B in the kind of old-fashioned sense, but that's just me personally. Alright, well, since everyone seems to be done, we're going to be voting on this song. Once again, the song was Handyman by Jimmy Jones, and we are going to start with you, Ben. How do you vote?
I vote -2.
Okay. Gregory.
+3.
Fan.
-1.
Okay, and I am voting 0. So, because I didn't really feel that strongly either way if I was just, like, kind of lackluster, but not in enough to give it a -1, so, that was certainly a very polarizing song among us. It, Ben's -2 and Fan's -1 matches Gregory's +3, and I didn't change the net at all, so it gives us a net total of 0. Well, the next song is It's Now or Never by Elvis Presley, a song that I think we're probably all fairly familiar with. It was position 7 on Vizio, and we're going to go listen to it now. Alright, we're back. Anyone have any thoughts?
I've heard this song before. It's one of the most famous Elvis songs.
Yep.
It's referenced in Let It Be briefly. I don't know what else to say.
It's, I personally think it's better than the previous Elvis song we just listened to. I'm, of course, well familiar with this song, and It's Now or Never's just a great track, and I suspect of these songs we haven't gone into yet, as well as the ones we have, this will probably be the best one, at least to me, among all of them, but, of course, the rest of you, your mileage may vary. But this is certainly one of the greatest Elvis songs. It's not his absolute greatest song, but it's up there, and it's, one of the best songs kind of this time period, a very early, kind of pre-Beatles sort of 60s.
Yeah, it was an alright song. I think it could grow on me if I listened to it a few more times, but it's just kind of okay to me.
Alright, well, now on to the voting. Ben, as usual, we will start with you.
+3.
Gregory.
1.
+1?
Yeah.
Okay, Fan.
+2.
Okay, and Chris is giving +3, so that is 9. That's +9. So +9, the best score we've gotten so far, beating out the other Elvis song, which was +7. So that's our highest score so far. Will we beat it? I'm doubtful, but we might. The next song is I'm Sorry by Brenda Lee. That was number 6 of this year. So we're going to go listen to that song now. Alright, anyone have any thoughts on this song?
Brenda Lee is nowadays, not at the time, underrated. I mean, most of the time we just hear Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, but she is actually pretty underrated.
Okay. Well, Ben seems to have liked it. Anyone else?
Also, I think it's worth noting that she's 15.
Yes.
I thought that was great. I thought it was a great song. Maybe the best one we've done so far.
Alright, well...
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting song. I looked up the genre on it, and on Wikipedia it says it's country politan, which was like the Bakersfield sound of like country and about California. That was pretty interesting.
I think it's more fun than like what I call like New Oklahoma.
Well, I wasn't as enthusiastic about this song as the rest of you. I thought it was just alright. I mean, I think she can sing, but I didn't find the material really anything that exciting. It was just kind of mediocre in my opinion, but obviously we certainly have varying opinions. Anyways, on to the voting, I guess. We'll let all votes talk. Ben.
+2.
Gregory.
+2.
Fan.
I'm gonna go +2.
And I am going with 0, I guess. So that is +6. So that's a pretty good score compared to kind of what we've got for some of these other songs. So that was +6 for I'm Sorry by Brenda Lee. The next song is Teen Angel by Mark. I'm assuming his last name is Dinning, although I guess it could be Dining or Dinning. I'm not 100% sure, but someone feel free to correct me if you know. And we're going to go listen to the song, and we will be right back. Alright, so we've listened to the song, we're back. Any discussion?
I think this song could have been shorter and nothing would have been lost.
Well, someone was lost. I think someone died in that song.
Yeah.
I was my
by a train in that song.
Yeah, I had to, I was Googling it, and it gives a storyline. Yeah, it's sad. And the song was actually banned from radio stations initially because of how sad it was. Which is funny, because, by the 90s, by the 90s and the 2000s, you had, people talking about literally committing suicide on pop radio, so it's okay.
Oh, well, we'd have sad or, trotting heads, in the ghetto and stuff. Within the same decade we're on, the later 60s, so yeah, I mean, it's weird to ban a song from radio just for being sad. Alright, well, I personally thought this was kind of a dumb novelty song, but your mileage may vary. Anyone have anything else to say before we go to the votes? No? Okay, well, we're gonna vote now. Song was Teen Angel. Ben.
0.
Gregory.
3.
+3?
+3.
+3.
Yeah.
Okay, Fan.
-3.
Okay, and I am giving a -1. So that is Fan's -3 and Gregory's +3 cancel out, so that leaves my -1 as the only thing, so total was -1. Suddenly another divisive one here.
I'm pro Oklahoma, always. And I like the song.
Part of me was tempted to move it to a 1, but I'm not actually going to do that.
Yeah, this is I think the only one we've gotten in the net negative so far. Yeah, Handyman was 0 was its net ratings. Alright, the next song is Running Barrel by Johnny Preston. Johnny Preston, that's the most 1950s, 1960s ass name imaginable. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. So that was number 4 on the charts for 1960, and we are going to go listen to Running Barrel and be right back. Alright, well, we are back, and we've gone and listened to the song. I expect there to be some commentary on this one. I see Gregory's unmuting. I take it that you want to go first?
Sure. It's another song with some death in it. But this time they both died, so I guess that's a little bit more satisfying. No, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't. I was kind of thrown off by the quote unquote Indian chants at the beginning. I was like, whoa, okay. Apparently the guy that sang the song is from Texas, which, hey, of course, Texas is gonna, be racist, and Oklahoma is also gonna be weird. But like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how to feel about the song, except for, I like songs with dark meanings, so, like, there's that. But I don't know what else to say about the song. It just threw me off guard. If this came out today, it just could not come out today. That's definitely one of those songs. I can for sure say that.
Ben?
So, there's a lot of musical elements in this song that I like. Not the Indian chants, but I did like the sax. Like, I liked the sax. I thought the sax was quite good. That's one of the best musical elements we've heard today. I have trouble even trying to pulse through how much of it, because there are songs that I like Elijah, that are not politically correct towards Native Americans, unfortunately. And this one is aesthetic to its protagonist. It's not like hateful. I mean, he's quite sympathetic to his protagonist, but it's also very stereotypical and thus racist.
Yeah, that was something.
But it's not like.
That was something I was going to say. I just kind of want to build upon your point here briefly, Ben. Which is, yeah, I'm not usually one who's too upset about like cultural appropriation in music as much, but this is certainly kind of a rather extreme example of it. The chant should have been left out. But I will say, I at least, like, you gotta remember, like, this is, like, John Wayne, like, era, sort of, in terms of, like, media as a whole and everything, and, like, honestly, like, yeah, it's a little weird taking all these, like, Native American things, and also, I didn't understand why they killed them off at the end, but, it's weird, but on the other hand, it didn't treat Native Americans like they were all, like, a bunch of rapists out to kidnap, white, colonial women and whatever, and for its day, I mean, it's actually rather fair for its day, I will say.
It's so extremely stereotypical.
It's bad, but at least it's not, like, at least it's stereotypical, but it's not like it's not stereotyping them as, like, evil people, at least. Like, let's say a lot of media from the 60s and 70s.
It's chaotically neutral, is what you mean to say.
It's
right?
chaotically neutral racism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it does portray them as having warlike. Like, I do think that kind of is in it, but it's also sympathetic to his I don't know, it's hard for me to pause through and be like, what is the correct response to this?
It's pretty naive, but it's decently well-intentioned.
They both drown, though.
I don't understand, why I don't understand why we couldn't just have, like, a love song without, like, people, drowning out.
Dying! Yes!
Like, what was up with that?
This is the song that followed Teen Angel as number 1 on the chart. I think that's worth noting.
Yeah, people...
What's going on in 1960?
It's like, I want people to die. That sounds...
I guess to some degree, yeah, maybe people were just desensitized after World War II and Korea and stuff about just seeing death, and at this point, I mean, the main purchasers of music would have been still, alive and in the war, the Second World War. So I guess maybe that has
maybe it's the reasoning. Maybe it's the reasoning behind the death.
I think it's teenagers. I mean, I think this is a teenage-oriented song, just like Teen Angel.
I think maybe it's something about how these teenagers were like, they weren't actually, they're too young to have fought in the war, but maybe they'll, a lot of their parents and their family did, and so they hear about death and World War II and all these, like, heroic war stories about the Second World War, and maybe they're over-romanticizing that to a degree. I mean, the people actually singing the songs aren't necessarily teenagers. I mean, this guy didn't sound like a teenager to me, although maybe he is, I don't know. But I think it has something. There was some broader historical context to this that I'm just not quite getting. I think the war has something to do with it. I think all the wars and bloodshed in the news and that people's families had witnessed and stuff at the time, I think has something to do with it. I'm just not exactly sure how.
Yeah, Johnny Preston was born in 1939.
So he was, a child during the war.
Yeah.
So,
I barely would have remembered it, yeah.
Yeah, but his parents, his father probably would have fought in the war based off of that age, so... May have had uncles or something, too. Yeah, I just don't know. I do think it probably has something to do with post-war media romanticizing, the greatest generation and stuff. Well, I'm guessing partly. Even though the sort of dying we've seen in these songs is in a very domestic context, not in a war, not really super violent, but, it's... I just...
Well, that's dying due to passion for something, like people...
Yeah, sort of.
During the World War, they died for their country, and these people are dying because of the love that they have for someone else. I think it's the passion part that's the component.
It's a certain romanticism, not just in like the romance songs, but like a idea of kind of a superiority in some sense, even though it's resulting in death. Sorry, Fawn, if you were trying to speak, but what?
So this song was actually written by J.P. Richardson, the guy from 1930. So it's a guy who definitely would have remembered World War II. Most of these songs were not written by the guy who sung them. You have to remember, this is the era where like 90% of the songs are written by other people, if not more than 90%. 90% is probably low. There's like still like Tin Pan Alley, like guys writing it and people just singing them and giving them to other people.
And he was
also
born
I thought it was a good song, personally. But
I will point out here briefly that I didn't realize this, but the guy who wrote it is the Big Bopper, who had literally just died very young himself, right before this became a hit, this version. So that may have influenced maybe people going out and buying it a bit more. I don't know. I mean, the day the music died was like a big media event, even at the time. So, like, that may have something to do with this single's success. I'm not really sure, but, like, I wouldn't be too surprised.
I'm sure it made an impact.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it did. So, that's maybe a part of this song. It doesn't explain Teen Angel, but it's maybe a part of this. Although, Teen Angel, maybe Buddy Holly's death and stuff did affect maybe these songs about death being, the hits in this year to some degree as well. I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was probably on a lot of musicians' minds. A lot of the songwriters were probably thinking about it. That wouldn't surprise me.
Dying Young, Richie Valens and stuff, and Buddy Holly were all really young. I'm just saying this was a thing, and this was a big kind of news story, just basically the preceding February from, in February of 1959, so it's certainly probably on people's minds and may have influenced some of these young people dying songs being the hits. Alright, well, now we need a vote on the song. We've actually talked about this one quite a bit, as well as in kind of a metatextual context. The song was, once again, Running Bear. And we're going to start with you, Ben. How do you vote?
I'm going to go with 0, because I just felt very mixed. Like, I liked parts of it, I really didn't like other parts of it. It's just kind of become neutral.
Alright. Gregory.
I'll give it a +2.
Fan?
I'm also going to go +2.
Okay, I thought the guy could sing decently well, but like I did like his voice, but I thought the chanting and some of the kind of weird, like, racial stereotype elements just weren't that good. So I'm going with -1, I think. So that is a +3 total. Not too bad, actually. That's 0 for Ben, 2 +2 for Fawn and Gregory, and then -1 for me. Alright, the next song, and we are into the top 3 of the year now, is Cathy's Clown by the Everly Brothers. And we're going to go listen to this song, and we will be back. Alright, and we are back. Once again, the song was Cathy's Clown. Anyone have any thoughts on this song?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
Oh, so somebody said yeah. I think that was Gregory.
Yeah, so I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it said that the song is notable for its unorthodox song structure because it has no verses, and it starts on a chorus and has a bridge, or 2 bridges, I guess, which I never personally understood the difference between, like, a bridge and a verse. I just always pictured the bridge being part of a verse. But to hear that distinction being made, and also being told that that's an unorthodox way of song structure, when that's like half of songs today, it feels like. They start out on choruses, they have very simplistic verses, with like 2 verses, and then a chorus for like a third or half of the song. So in a way, this song, the first, like, what was it? Song was the songs that have this type of simplistic song structure. Songs like mumble rap, quote unquote, like Gucci Gang. In a way, the song was kind of like, I don't want to say it's a modern song because obviously until then, but this song is kind of similar to a lot of songs nowadays, and I kind of thought that was interesting.
I was gonna say, you did not just compare this to Gucci Gang.
Oh no, this song is exactly like Gucci Gang. Yeah.
What?
No. But no, I thought it was a good song. It was just, if it was not such an older song with like actual instruments and stuff like that, and actual singing and whatnot, I probably wouldn't look at it like very fondly, because I don't really like small, short, simplistic songs. But I thought this was interesting because at the time it was considered unorthodox. But yeah.
Well, I personally thought the song was pretty solid. It's not the best song I know by the Everly Brothers, but it's kind of a good example of this sort of kind of early precursor to folk rock, more just kind of folk with kind of maybe folk pop in a way, very harmony heavy. You know, you'd see their influence kind of be very important throughout the rest of the 1960s in terms of sort of songs that would follow, especially with groups like Simon and Garfunkel and stuff. And this is kind of a pretty good example, I think, of their style. It's not the absolute best. It's not one of the best songs ever made, in my opinion, but it's a solid one. Alright, we ready to go on to the voting?
Sure.
Ben, we're starting with you.
+1.
Okay, Gregory.
+3.
Van.
Plus. I'll go +2.
Okay, I am going with a +2, I think. So that is +8, I think. 1 for Ben, 2 for me, 3 for Gregory. No. Next song is He'll Have to Go by Jim Reeves. That was the #2 song of 1960, so we're almost done. So we're going to go listen to this song, and we will be right back. Alright, discussion, anyone?
I thought the song was great.
Ben?
I was really I was really taken aback by how good Jim Reeves' singing was. I was not. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it to be that good. It was very soulful, He moved so well between the notes. I gotta say, this song was really great. It was much better than I expected it to be, knowing it's like a classic country tune and stuff.
The actual lyrics is our theme. I didn't find all that exciting, but I don't believe that the singing was quite good. Like, the singing was very, very good. Very high quality singing.
I found it to be kind of a typical kind of ballad from the time, country ballad. I didn't find it anything too spectacular. It's alright. It's competently delivered, but I wouldn't say it did much more than that for me.
The thing I thought that was interesting about it is the song is about or stems from a phone conversation, which is something nobody under the age of 30 knows about. Because we don't talk on the phone anymore. So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Gregory, I hate to tell you this, but I'm under the age of 40, and me and Ben talk on the phone to each other quite often.
Oh, well, sorry, that's the substitute teacher in me. None of my students talk on the phone anymore.
Okay, well, at the very least, though, this is kind of interesting because the guy does seem to be using a public phone in some sort of restaurant or club that has a jukebox, so that's at least something. He's not using a cell, he's using some sort of phone at some establishment.
Yeah.
So that is kind of notable, still. Alright, well, voting. We'll see. Okay, so Ben, what do you give?
That's a good question. I'm gonna go with +2.
Gregory?
+2.
Van?
I'm gonna do the same and give it +2.
Okay, and I am giving a +1, I guess. If it's +7. It's actually quite high for what we've done. And of course, here at the end now we have the #1 song of 1960. And that is "Theme from a Summer Place" by Percy Faith. That was the #1 song of the year. So we're gonna go listen to that, and we'll be back with our thoughts. Alright, discussion, anyone? Fan?
It's a nice instrumental.
Fan was trying to speak. Fan?
Oh yeah, this is a great tune. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard this song like hundreds of times, just in, I don't know, a million things that you can't even find. I know it's in an episode of The Simpsons, which was really funny. But yeah, just a classic tune. I'm kind of hard not to think of other things when you hear it, though, so it's kind of hard to be a little unbiased.
It's a chill and pleasing song, I certainly think.
Yeah, I know I've heard it before. I don't remember specifically where I've heard it, but I do think it's interesting that it was a song that made it to be #1 and has no lyrics. You don't really see that today. Or haven't in a long time, actually.
No, that would end not really that much longer after this.
Yeah. I think it's happened like one other time, maybe? I'm not sure.
It's only a sort of older style of a thing, As I said, 60s, it's when popular music starts to go through a bunch of changes, and this is on the older side of that. This whole having this kind of instrumental movie theme be a #1 song of the year. Not even the Store's Cantina theme managed to do that. Alright, voting. Ben, how do you vote for the #1 song in 1960?
+2.
Gregory.
+3.
Van.
I'm gonna go +2.
And I am going with +2, so that is +9 total. So, And that was our last song. So now I am going to look and see what songs did the best by our scoring and which songs did the worst. So, alright. The song that did the worst by our voting was Teen Angel. That was a -1. It had a 0 from Ben, a -3 from Fan, a +3 from Gregory, and a -1 from me. The next worst song, at the number 9 spot, based off of how we ranked them, was Handyman. That had a net of 0, with -2 from Ben, -1 from Fan, +3 from Gregory, and nothing from me. At number 8, we had Running Barrel by Johnny Preston. It had a net of +3. That was 0 from Ben, +2 from Fan, +2 from Gregory, and -1 from me. After that, we had The Tryst by Chubby Checker. It had +4, a +1 from Ben, a 0 from Fan, a +2 from Gregory, and a +1 from me. At number 6, the 6th song, both by all ranking and actually by the chart ranking, was I'm Sorry by Brenda Lee. That got a net of +6, with +2 from Ben, +2 from Fawn, +2 from Gregory, and 0 from me. Number 5, we had Stuck on You by Elvis. That was a negative of +7, so this is where we start getting the horror numbers. +1 from Ben, +2 from Fan, +3 from Gregory, +1 from me. Number 4 was He'll Have to Go. That was also +7, so it was actually tied with Stuck on You. +2 from Ben, +2 from Fan, +2 from Gregory, +1 from me. Number 3, we had Cathy's Clown. That had net of +8. 1 from Ben, 2 from Fan, 3 from Gregory, 2 from me. And then there was a tie for number 1. Theme from a Summer Place. That was one we just did. That was +9. 2 from Ben, 2 from Fan, 3 from Gregory, 2 from me. And then It's Now or Never by Elvis, my personal favorite of these songs. That was also +9. And that was 3 from Ben, 2 from Fan, 1 from Gregory, 3 from me. So, overall, kind of an interesting pick. I'm mostly, personally, happy with this list. This would look not too dissimilar from my list if I was to just rank these myself, just on my own, but your mileage may vary, guys. So, Evan, you all have any thoughts about how they ended up being ranked, which songs you liked more than expected, less than expected, and how you thought the year did overall in terms of its top 10?
I think it shaked out about probably how I would roughly rank them myself. I think, like, the ones I think are probably the best were close to the top, and the ones I thought were better were close to the bottom. So I think for me it shook out pretty roughly exactly how it would for me.
Yeah, I agree with Fan on this.
Gregory, you have anything you want to say?
I mean, I kind of like most of the songs. I mean, like, I think I was the only person that pretty much gave a positive answer on most of the songs. So, for me, it'd probably be harder for me to come up with a solid feeling, but I'm okay with this ranking. It's not horrible.
Alright, well, yeah. Alright, pretty solid year, maybe a little bit better than I was expecting, just overall. None of these are, like, my favorite songs of all time or anything, but fairly solid, although we maybe had a little bit too much death in them. I don't know, maybe just me.
Yeah, that was a little wild. That was something.
Yeah, back to back, yeah. But yeah, no, overall, pretty good. Alright, well that about wraps it up for this episode. We will, of course, as I said earlier, be making this into a series. So we'll be eventually going through 1961, 1962, all the way up through 2024. And then, of course, we'll have to wait for more years to pass before we can do any after that. But if you like this kind of style of us going and looking at the songs of yesteryear, then please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot, really, all of us. We really do enjoy doing this sort of thing, just hanging around, chatting. And yeah, so once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.